Welcome to a special midweek portion of Zenless Zone Zero news because the developers have done something somewhat unexpected, and that is to say that they have already released drip marketing for patch 1.7 even though we are still a good number of days away from patch 1.6 dropping. And you know what? I'm not complaining. But firstly, let's go over who was shown. Although the timing of the announcement was a surprise, who was announced was not surprising at all since it was Vivian, a member of Mockingbird. Now, the reason why I say Vivian isn't much of a surprise is because again, her and Hugo have been shown to be playing quite an important role in the upcoming patch 1.6 story. And again, we are getting a new disc set in patch 1.6 called Phaethon's Melody, which doesn't really seem to fit anyone we currently have available. Until now, that is, since Vivian is going to be an ether anomaly agent. And if you read the description of the disc set's 4-piece effect, you'll see that there is a bonus effect when a character other than the wearer uses an EX special attack. This effect on the disc set implies that Vivian might be an off-field ether anomaly agent, somewhat similar to Burnice. And speaking of Burnice, it's a great time to mention one possible team already that Vivian could work really well with. We know that the devs like to chain together banners for units that work well together, in an attempt to try and get you to have to pull multiple times in a row, back to back, and then of course having to buy more polychromes because oh no, how are you going to top up for more pulls? And since Burnice is about to get a rerun, it's kind of like them egging you on to grab Burnice so that you can pair Vivian and her together. But imagine this though, you have a main anomaly on-fielder like say Miyabi or Yanagi, and then both of your two other agents are Burnice and Vivian, all of them applying all of their own anomalies all at the same time. You'll be going to Disorder City essentially. But coming back to Vivian now, in her teaser, we actually got to hear her speak unlike some of the previous drip marketing trailers that were shown off. Here is her English voice.
People often mask their true intentions. Sometimes, what you can't see is the real truth.
And then here is her Japanese voice.
時には目に見えないものこそが真実だということもあります。
Now, the English trailer didn't name the voice actor directly, but for the Japanese voice actor, it was revealed to be Mizuno Saku, who you might recognize from any of these roles that she's been in. And then if we look further in the image teasers for her, we see that she is obviously a part of Mockingbird, and as such, one of the quotes about her come from none other than Hugo Vlad. From the other comments, it appears that she is a very meticulous and proper lady, as one would expect from how fancy she is dressed. Also, she's been helping out Charles apparently, so she gets a thumbs up in my book. The other trait of Vivian's that was shown is that she appears to be quite obsessed with Phaethon. Supposedly, she's been posting love messages all over internet, and she even says that she wishes Lord Phaethon's gaze would linger only on her. This gives us a little bit more understanding as to why her disc set is called Phaethon's Melody. It's probably meant to be some sort of song dedicated to us from her. Now, although Vivian was revealed, they haven't shown off the second drip marketed character for 1.7 just yet. But I mean, at this point, is there even a need to speculate? It's almost assuredly going to be Hugo Vlad, the other member from Mockingbird. He also plays a big role in the story, and so they wouldn't split the faction release, and we also even get a quote from him too in Vivian's teaser. Now, when he does get revealed, he will probably also have a voiced line, just like Vivian. I'm not sure who the English voice actor will be, but if his Japanese voice is consistent with what we heard in Lycan's original agent story,
想像してみろよ、ライカン。いつか俺たちは賛美と誹謗、警護と罵倒、信奉と配信、その全てを浴びて立つことになる。頂にいる。どうだ？こいつはことのほかそそられるだろ。
Then, the Japanese voice for Hugo will very likely be Fukuyama Jin, who I'm sure many of you will recognize as Lelouch from Code Geass. Now, I said that this was somewhat unexpected because again, as of late, the drip marketing looked like it started to appear later and later every time, to a point where it was only revealed a day or two after the new banners dropped. The exact reason Vivian was revealed so early will remain a mystery, but this is honestly a good thing all around. For those people that were unsure of whether they should pull for the upcoming 1.6 banners, maybe now this gives them something to save for to keep their polychrome safe, as opposed to say the previous tactics where they were honestly kind of greedy in my opinion, waiting until a day or two after everyone sees all the FOMO and then splurges on the banner, only to then see a much better agent that they like the very next day. But who knows, maybe the devs are just so confident that people will still pull for Soldier and ambient trigger that they don't feel like teasing Vivian and Hugo would detract from those banners. Now, on the topic of detracting from other banners, as mentioned, this makes a bit of an interesting point about whether you should pull for Burnice on her rerun or wait for Vivian. Now, firstly, as always, when in doubt, go with whatever your heart says you like more between the two of them. But in terms of a gameplay standpoint, it would seem like they have similar roles. One option is of course always just get lucky and get both of them, but if you do have to choose just one, things get a bit difficult. Since Burnice is on the first half of the patch, we're only going to get official kit details of Vivian, and I'm assuming Hugo, later on in the second half when Burnice is no longer available. So you'll kind of have to make a decision now if you want to try and grab Burnice or wait for Vivian instead. As for my suggestion, I would say that you're probably better off waiting for Vivian. Let me explain why. Firstly, she's newer, and I don't like to bring up the big old power creep word, but it is expected that newer agents are going to be somewhat stronger than older ones. But more importantly though, Vivian is an ether unit, which is, by the developer's own admission, a much rarer element compared to the rest. So who knows when next we will get another new ether anything, honestly. If you don't have Shuyan, you're probably still lacking an ether damage source of any kind, really. And then secondly, if you have a look at their disc sets for Burnice and Vivian, Phaethon's Melody does appear much more appealing than Chaos Jazz does on Burnice. Both of them are emphasizing off-field anomaly application, but Phaethon's Melody is actually focused more on the anomaly itself, more so than Chaos Jazz, which is instead focusing on EX skill damage. One of the biggest reasons why off-field anomaly agents are so enticing is because of how easily it makes it to trigger disorders. Now, Chaos Jazz provides 30 anomaly proficiency, which is still great for disorders, and it also increases fire damage by 15%, also great. But the off-field part of it is that it increases EX special and assist attack damage. So in the case of Burnice, this is really only an increase for her afterburn damage, not the actual burn anomaly, and thus not the actual disorder effect. Now, that's not to say that Burnice's afterburn damage is nothing and you should neglect it, but it's not exactly the important part of a disorder team. Meanwhile, with Phaethon's Melody, it gives 8% anomaly mastery, cool, great, build up those corruptions faster, but then it also gives 45 points of anomaly proficiency, a bigger boost than Chaos Jazz, and the off-field part of it provides 25% ether damage boost, much higher than Chaos Jazz. Now, one catch would be to say that maybe since Phaethon's Melody is focused so much on the anomaly aspect, maybe if you can't trigger the anomaly fast enough, the extra EX damage provided from Burnice will be better, but I mean, come on. It's a brand new S-rank ether anomaly agent. I'm sure Vivian will be able to trigger corruption very often. But of course though, this is purely speculation. I could be completely wrong about how Vivian will work, and you also don't need to listen to me on who you should pull. But I just thought I would give my 2 cents about the situation. Otherwise though, that is going to be it for this hotfix news roundup of Zenless Zone Zero. For now, it was only Vivian shown off, but I'm sure within the next coming days we will see a trailer featuring none other than Hugo Vlad himself. As always, if you found this video useful, liking, commenting, and subscribing is greatly appreciated. So until next time, bye bye!